Hello and welcome to our second and final lesson on normal distributions, or normal curves we're calling this, or bell curves it's also called. But normal distribution is a typical thing we say, and we're going to look at the curves. It's a nice visual aid to see what's going on. You'll want to be able to label the curve, and we've already done that, the bell curve or normal distribution, and also answer questions where percentile rank, or where some data is as a percent in a normal curve. Typically, this stuff gets important, like when our kids were growing up, you'd want to know if your child is above or below the average weight, and make decisions based on that. So, for instance, if your child was a little bit lighter than the mean or the average weight of a child, um, you could be like in the 40th percentile. The 50th percentile is the mean, and so the 50th is kind of a nice one to know. The 50th percentile is going to mean that half of the data, in this case, the weight of babies, is at or below your child's weight. So I don't know what those weights would be, but let's say 2 pounds is the 50th percentile. And if we knew a standard deviation was like a half a pound, you could be 1.5. A 1.5 pound baby is going to be, well, if we think about our curve again, the mean uh, is in the middle. That first standard deviation would be a 34%. So there's 50% above this way. Oops, 50%. And another 34%. So that's 84% are heavier. That means your child would be in the 16th percentile, with 84% heavier, 16% equal to or lower. Hopefully that makes some sense. Some of the distributions that we really like to know about are 1 standard deviation, 2, or 3. We catch 68% of the data when we move 1 standard deviation to the left or right. 95 we pick up with 2 standard deviations, and 99 we're kind of estimating in our thing. We're not using decimals and small amounts, but 99% of the data is going to be in 3 standard deviations. So let's get to work with this and see how we can make sense of it. In the US, a male's average height is 70 inches with a standard deviation of 3. So we'll go right to the middle, and then we're going to add 70, or add 3 to 73, add 3 76, add 3 79, continue going down symmetrically, and 61 inches. All right, so these distances need to be the same. This interval, notice that the percents are different, but that's a different measure. It's measuring how much of the data. This is measuring a specific, in this case, height. So let's answer the questions. What percent of adult males are 70 inches or taller? We typically include the data value like the 70 and below. So typically we'd say greater than 70 inches. Could be a very small amount. But anyway, bigger than 70 inches, that the mean's right there in the middle. So 50% is above, 50% is below. What percent of adult males are 76 inches or taller? So let's run up here. Just 2% are taller. Um, we're only counting for 99% of the data. So if we said that we had 98% below, that's pretty accurate. I think we're going to be able to get away with that as we try to understand this stuff as a first exposure. So you could say 2% are bigger than 76, 98% are shorter than 76 inches. What percent of adult males are between, not whatever that is, between 67 and 76. And just like the box and whisker plot, we can just go to 67, start adding up these chunks here. So 34, 34, and 14. So that's 68 and 14, 82, I believe. I'm going to work with that. All right. Our last example, we want to sketch and label a curve for adult females. The mean height is 64.5. We can throw that in right away. And if we add 2.5 each time, so that's going to be a 67, 69.5, 72, I believe. Take away 2.5, we have 62, 59.5, and 57. This is same kind of thing, just inches, but it's now ladies. So what percent of adult females are less than 62? Add up all the numbers to the left, 16%. Once you try these without me finishing, just hit pause and see if you can figure this stuff out. Okay. What percent of adult females are between 59.5 and 62? Well, that's only 14. It's pretty easy. Estimate the percentage of adult females who are taller than 70. Oh, so here we know that if you're 69.5, it's 2%. So a little bit more, you're stealing away really the taller chunk of this curve as it goes down. So some number less than 2, probably bigger than 1.5, but we'd probably be okay with 1.5 as well. But I'm just going to say 1.8%. We use a little squiggly thing for an estimate, 1.8%. But there's a couple good answers there. All right, that gets through our work. You can go ahead and get started on your CYUs.